Welcome to From Here, where we discuss what it really takes to lead a great life and a great business, one conversation at a time. I'm Vanessa Oak-Hogan, broker-owner of Century 21 United Realty. This podcast isn't just about real estate, it's about drive, discipline, and the people behind the success stories, from entrepreneurs and innovators to community leaders. I sit down with people I admire to talk about work ethic, business tactics, decision making, and how they're making impact in their own way. Let's get into it. Hi there, welcome to the From Here podcast. I'm excited today to have Jay Rowan with me. Jay Rowan, I think the thing most people know about you is that you're the person behind Sandbagger, but we have more of a history than that. So there are a lot of things I want to get into today with you. Sandbagger, of course, I want to talk about high school. We went to high school together. Going to high school in the 80s is a lot different than what it is today, so I want to get into that. I want to hear the story of Sandbagger and everything you did up until that. Your parents, I want to talk to you about your dad's legacy, and your mom, both were realtors too, so there's a tie back to Century 21 here.
Sure.
And just Peterborough, our city, and lots to get into in between. So.
Well, I greatly appreciate having me. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Okay, so first things first, high school.
St. Pete's.
Yeah, St. Pete's.
The old St. Pete's.
The old St. Pete's.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, fond memories of it. I went to St. Pete's Elementary across the road, so it wasn't too far to move going from elementary to high school.
That's where our dances were, right?
At the gym, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
our
going
high
there.
school dances.
We didn't have the amenities that most schools have today. You know, we had to jog to Bonnerworth before phys ed even started.
Yeah.
And that gym was, tiny, but we made do. It was great.
Yeah.
The community there and the people I met. To this day, friends like yourself, it was an incredible place. And, being downtown Peterborough was amazing because you could walk down to Peterborough Square for lunch. There was so much to do in that area.
Sneaky Pete's.
Sneaky Pete's, absolutely. But yeah, it was such a great area to grow up in and go to school in. I grew up on Clonsilla. However, I would go to the McGillis household, which was close by, my cousins, and go to school there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right on Homewood, Gilmore?
Yeah, they were on the corner of Hunter and Homewood.
Right. Yeah.
So spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, big family.
Big family. My mom's a Donnelly, so
right.
I come from a ridiculously large family with the Donnellys, the McConkeys, the McGillises.
Yeah, you need a map to connect all the dots.
Yeah, there's a lot of cousins.
You guys get together? Like, do you do family reunions?
Used to a long time ago. Hasn't been a family reunion in a long time, to be honest, but still see all my cousins pretty regularly. And
how's your mom doing?
She's great, thanks. She's living on Stewart Street still, the house she grew up in. So I got her back there and living with my sister, and she's doing great. Thank you for asking. So
her parents sold or passed away? She took the house over?
It's just been in the family the entire time. It ended up with the McConkeys, and soon thereafter, they were able to pass it back on to me and was able to keep her in the house that she grew up in. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
She loved that?
She does. She's got, unfortunately, a little bit of dementia, which is always tough to deal with.
Yeah.
But health-wise, physically, she's great.
Good.
So, yeah.
She had quite the career, I think, in real estate. Like, it was a bit before my time. But
she did, but she's better known as a hairdresser.
Yes.
Irene's Glamorette Salon that she opened, I don't know how old, I wasn't even born, downtown Peterborough. So she did hair for, 40 plus years.
Right.
And then, after my dad had the restaurant, she ended up doing real estate, which she really loved.
Yeah.
She really enjoyed it and really enjoyed the people.
I met her once at, I think it was Riley's for some event, and I was really impressed by her. And my daughter was younger at the time. She's only 19 now, but she was thinking about doing hair for a living. And I talked to your mom about that, and she was just really encouraging her to do that. She loved her time doing hair and the people she would meet. And
I got free haircuts my whole life. It was
you?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. Jump back to high school for a minute. We were talking about this a bit outside before you came in, but the difference for kids these days going to high school versus what we would have experienced in the 80s, like, what do you think the big differences are?
The 80s was such a simple life. I mean,
think so.
I think we're truly blessed. We grew up at the best time
Lucky.
ever. I mean, we had the greatest music,
Yeah.
among other things.
Our kids believe that we had the greatest music too, even.
Yeah.
My kids are like...
But I mean, you just went and worked hard and, earned money, and it was just a quiet, easy life. And today with social media, among other things, I can't imagine, and, cyber attacks and people trying to steal your money or anything from you at any given moment. And it's just a completely different world to maneuver for our kids. I can't imagine what they're going to go through.
I know.
Compared to what we went through.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of decisions to make. It was like, you want to go play road hockey? Sure. You want to go play road hockey. It was that simple.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what our kids are going to go through.
And we had a lot more freedom. It was so different. Like, you would go out and your parents wouldn't be able to track you down or know where you were.
Maybe we're helicopter parents to a fault now. I don't know if that's it, but the world has certainly changed. I mean, you can track your kids' iPhones and know where they are at all times. It's funny, I talk about trips. Like, I would go away to Daytona Beach.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no way of getting a hold of me, but my parents trust me and my friends enough that, we'd have to call collect and make sure, if somebody had to be home to get the actual call to say, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine being a parent back then either, wondering, my kids are gone.
Yeah.
Are they okay? Where if they're out of reach for 15 minutes, nowadays it's like, are they okay?
I know.
So it's different trust level, I guess, but definitely a different world that we grew up in. Again, very simple, and there wasn't that as much fear, I guess.
Yeah. Really grateful for that we got to grow up then. When you were in high school, did you know where you were headed? Like, did you have a career path, a goal in mind?
Not necessarily a career path. I always knew I would live in Toronto. I knew I wanted to get out of Peterborough for a bit and try and forge a career. I had a lengthy career here with Stranos and eventually Cisco. So I ended up working downtown Toronto for them. So I spent about 15 years in Toronto before I moved back. It was April 2020 when I came back after my dad had passed away, and my mom, to spend time with family and friends.
Yeah.
And we were always coming back to Peterborough every weekend to see friends and parties. So it was like, why are we living, in Whitby at the time? But
yeah,
I finally came home, and it was probably the best decision I ever made. I think there's some kind of magnet in this town at the lift locks or somewhere that everybody that leaves Peterborough ends up coming back
magnet.
here. Yeah, they always come back. I mean, they spread their wings elsewhere, and then you want to come home. It's always home to me. So
I did the same thing. I left right after university and wanted to see if I could get a job in Toronto, and I did, and was there for 12 years. And but we were doing the same thing. Got married in that time and started having kids, and we'd be back even before kids every weekend almost to visit family and friends. And we were trying to move back, and we're lucky that we were able to do that. So.
Not to mention, I didn't have $1 million for a teardown in Toronto.
I know, that's the other thing.
The catalyst for pretty much just to move to Whitby. At least we got halfway home. I lived in Whitby for 6 years before fully coming back to Peterborough.
I remember coming home and looking at the real estate insert and thinking, like, we won the lottery if we moved back here.
Yeah, and transition-wise, it worked out well because the pricing in Whitby versus when it came time to move back to Peterborough was certainly an advantage.
Right.
The real estate prices were higher.
Yeah.
We're in a different market, so it worked out well that way.
And when you were working for Cisco downtown Toronto, were you selling food? Or?
Yeah. So I was a sales rep for them. I actually started in the warehouse in Stranos. I think it was probably 16 at the time. I was a truck driver for a year. I kind of did it all, and then worked my way into sales, and then had a great career with them. Great company, treated me quite well.
Yeah, I have a similar background. I worked for National Grocers for quite a few years in their warehouses and on the project management side of things. But and then after I moved into food sales for Summit Foods, so I was doing that in Toronto as well.
I forgot about that. I did remember that.
Yeah,
you did that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that was a great job. It was a grind, though.
Yeah, you kind of get into hospitality and just get stuck in it your whole life. You know what I mean? My first job was at O'Toole's as a dishwasher, cook.
Oh, okay.
Made my way to disc jockey.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got fired for playing Crazy Train.
You're kidding.
No, I kid you not. We had a strict policy because O'Toole's back then was an incredibly busy bar and a lot of fights. And Kevin, the owner, said, "You don't play Crazy Train. It incites violence." We're like, okay, no problem.
Really?
It was a Wednesday night, and he wasn't there. At least I thought he wasn't. It was one of our regulars' birthdays. And he came up and he requested it. And he was probably our biggest regular at the time. I'm like, sure, I'll play it. And he came out of the back, and that was the last shift I had at O'Toole's.
Wow.
Yeah, but made the guy happy for his birthday, so.
So that was before you moved to Toronto?
Yeah, so, worked at O'Toole's. Went to Sir Sanford here for a bit, and then, on to Toronto. I think it was probably 23 when I went to Toronto or so. by the time I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did the Montreal House come into play?
So that, I actually owned the Montreal House for 6 years.
Yeah.
During the time I lived in Toronto. So it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of driving.
Yeah.
Looking after the business back here. So it was great. I enjoyed it. Met so many good people. We had so many good bands come through there. So it was financially, it was not a very good investment. It was actually a good learning experience of how to fail.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, the amount of people I met and that Rolodex you create is incredible.
Yeah. So your dad owned a bar called The Office. Was that a kind of an inspiration or familiarity
Somewhat.
to you?
I don't know if you know the story behind it. So
no, I want to.
When my dad was in real estate, that building, which used to be Don Cherry's and I think the Highwayman, I think it was called.
Oh, okay.
It was closed and it was vacant. So my dad had the listing for it, and he actually bought it with the intent of getting a license for a strip joint.
Oh.
And then selling the building with the license, making a profit off of that, because there was only one strip bar in Peterborough. Thursdays, yeah. So what happened is during the process, the city of Peterborough changed the bylaws to basically make it so that he couldn't have a strip bar there. So it had to be so far from a set of railroad tracks, had to be a freestanding building, which it wasn't because it was in a plaza, did all this stuff. He appealed it to the Ontario Municipal Board. And when him and his lawyer showed up that day, it was a female judge, and every time she heard the word nudity, she cringed. So soon thereafter, he figured that he better open a bar because he needed some income to pay the mortgage. So yeah, the office came to life, which is incredibly fond memories. I worked there as a bartender, as did my friend Jerry and some other people. But he had it for 10 years. And but that's part of my dad's visionary type thing. When he started that, he was probably one of the first persons to bring oysters to Peterborough.
Okay.
And then he did other great things, the Yuck Yucks comedians. I was so fortunate to see people like Russell Peters, Norm MacDonald.
Oh, wow.
Some of the greatest comedians in the world came through the office, which was great. And it was actually Norm MacDonald, when he got signed to Saturday Night Live, it was his last show he did here before he left, and he didn't cancel it. And I remember Norm coming in that night, and he said to my dad, he said, "Billy, I wouldn't cancel on you." Aww. And the next day he was leaving for New York to go do Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Pretty cool. So, yeah, he did so many cool things there. And then, even St. Paddy's Day, he's somewhat responsible, and you can ask Danelle, but for getting the Leahys back together.
Okay.
He needed a band for St. Paddy's Day, and he reached out to a couple of the Leahys. And that first year, a few of them showed up. The second year, a bunch of them showed up, and it was packed year after year. It was the biggest St. Paddy's Day party in Peterborough.
No way.
And then, the Leahys formed a band and got back together soon thereafter, which is great. So
very cool. What year would that have been? What span?
That's a good question.
Was it like...
It'd be like 2000s.
I was going to say late 90s, yeah.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had it for 10 years. And
clever name, right? Where are you going? I'm going to the office.
That's right. I'll be down at the office. We used to answer the phone. And, oh, no, he's not here. But, it was very fond memories of the office for sure. Yeah.
He did a lot of different things, your dad. So he was a realtor.
He worked at GE, as did most people, with Carm Collins and some other real estate guys. Everybody.
Oh, I didn't know that they all did that.
Yeah, they all kind of worked at General Electric growing up. I mean, it was the biggest, probably... employer in town, right? And from there, he went on and owned a painting business, and then got into real estate. So he was in real estate a long time, 40 plus years, I'm sure.
Yeah, wow.
Start to finish, and it was at Century 21, Grey Monroe, I think, was his first.
Okay.
First dipped his toes into it.
Nice.
So with Donnie Harriman and Carm and all the guys.
Yeah.
And Terry Horgan, who you interviewed not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good group.
Yeah, so from there, and then got into the restaurant business after that. So yeah, he was very entrepreneurial-like, that's for sure. Yeah, very well respected. I'm sure people talk to you about him when they see you. They remember specific things about him. Like, what do you hear most? They do. I can't believe the amount of people that he knew or that knew him. And he would introduce me to hundreds of people all the time, and he would remember everybody's name. Yeah. And they always enjoyed spending time with him. He was a lot of fun, whether it would be golfing or on a trip somewhere. Yeah. So many stories, so many pictures, and we get together and reminisce about some of the stuff all the time every year. Carm, Terry, and Don Harriman and I have dinner once a year. They used to go for dinner at the Keg with my dad once per year. So you do that? Yeah. After he passed, they asked me if I would join them. So we'll sit there, just before Christmas, and we'll sit there for 5-6 hours and just tell stories and talk. And it's really nice to be able to spend time with some of his friends in that capacity.
Yeah, that's special. I think my Uncle Jeff was friends with him too, Jeff Nichols.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
very
I think
good
they
friends.
used to go on golf trips together.
Yeah, I miss Jeff so much.
I know.
Such a great man. And
Yeah.
Nicolini's like back in the day.
Yeah, wasn't that awesome?
Oh, it was so
So
good.
many great memories there.
Yeah, and I still see Steve a lot as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got a bottle of Valpolicella at the liquor store the other day, and it reminds me of Jeff.
Oh, does
Because that was
it?
their house wine.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think about him
that.
often.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
miss him. So Sandbagger, what was, tell me the story.
I'll tell you, it's so growing up in Peterborough on Clonsilla, I was a member at Kawartha Golf. I was 12 years old at the time. My dad was a member there. It's kind of my first memory of it. There was a drink around town called Sandbagger that was somewhat popular. Basically just gin, bar lime, soda, splash of Sprite. So they served it at Kawartha. And I was 12, so I drank the Presbyterian, as it was called, the non-alcoholic version of it. And you can still get it to this day at the course because I'm a member there.
Nice.
Which is great. So my son can drink the Presbyterian. But my dad thought it was a really cool name. Would be a great name for a drink, like a canned beverage. And this is almost 22 years ago.
Were there canned beverages back then other
not
than beer?
Not many. No, it was just kind of its infancy. Maybe Wildberry, which we probably drank in high school. And Smirnoff. There wasn't too many. But he trademarked the name in Canada, the United States. And so with the intent of bringing out a drink, but back then you had to own a distillery in Canada to produce a spirit-based beverage. And he didn't have the money to do that. So he actually went to Smirnoff and to Labatt's and said, hey, I would like to license this name to you. And they didn't really have any interest in it. So my dad had asked me for my lawyer's name way back when he did the trademark. And so I kept bugging him over the years to bring it to market. Unfortunately, he never got it to market. He passed about 9 years ago from lung cancer. And I was cleaning out his house and I saw the trademark. It was actually a handwritten note to my lawyer, or his lawyer at the time, asking to trademark the name and with a $500 deposit. And I got thinking about it, and that Sunday at a celebration of life, I just made him a promise and launched Sandbagger Lemon Lime based on that drink from 40 years ago. It's loosely based on it. That one was very sugary. Ours is not.
Yeah.
And then put my dad's initials on it. So every can has a WJR on Sandbagger as a pay tribute to my father, who's the inspiration behind the brand. So
I love it.
So Lemon Lime, we launched March 2020, right at the height of COVID. We had just produced 2,000 cases, and I was in Mexico with a few friends, with Pat Sheehan, who you'd know, and Dale Beavis, my wife, and Brooke, and my kids. And
we were there during when COVID kind of became a serious thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just kind of becoming a thing. I had taken 8 cans down there in our check baggage, so we were trying them at the pool. We thought, geez, these are great. And then our prime minister came on and said, come home, everything's closed, including golf. So got back home and I was like, darn, what are we going to do now? Golf was kind of the entry point for the beverage. Right. So we basically just said to our friends, e-transfer is $65 and we'll drop a case at your door.
And I said, yes, please. I was one of the many.
You're a big supporter. Yeah. I thought COVID would have been a terrible time to launch, but as we know, people are drinking like savages, and we had a captured audience at home on social media. So, those first few cases went out. The second day there was a few more orders came through, and this was just e-transfer, drop it off at somebody's house. And then people were on social media, they'd take like a 2-pack and put a bow around it and put it on a teacher's doorstep, or they would put it on a nurse's doorstep. And so that would get shared, and then they would buy a case. So I think it was about 10 days in, we had to open a Shopify site to handle the volume. And those 2,000 cases were gone in 3.5 weeks. And the summer of 2020 of Lemon Lime, we ended up selling 35,000 cases, which was pretty insane.
Unreal.
It was a lot of driving, a lot of delivering, a lot of craziness.
You were delivering, making the delivery?
Myself and all my buddies across the province. Yeah, we were delivering in Windsor and Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't just Peterborough, it ended up being pretty much across the province. And then Lemon Lime went into the LCBO in spring of 2021. Okay. So that's when it started to get traction there. And and started to add more flavors from there. But it's funny, you talk about the journey and things, and, boysenberry, obviously one of our most popular flavors. Yeah. While working at Cisco, I looked after Canada's Wonderland. They were an account of mine. The gentleman who ran that got transferred to Knott's Berry Farm in California. And he ran that for a few years and then came back. And this is 10 years probably before Sandbagger. And he started telling me about a boysenberry. So it's a cross between a loganberry, a blackberry, and a raspberry.
Oh,
but at
okay.
Knott's Berry Farm, the amusement park, they made boysenberry beer, pie, jam. He was telling me about it, and then so I was trying to think of a second flavor, and I was like, I don't want to be the next black cherry. Nobody in Canada really knew what a boysenberry was, but once I tried it, I was like, darn, this is good. So, so for things to come full circle in my life, having had that journey with Cisco and introductions, and it led to a flavor like that. So yeah, the innovations and things like that, the way it's happened has been pretty crazy.
How you can trace things back to your past. And
yeah, so from launching in March 2020, now we're coast to coast in Canada. The only province we aren't in is Quebec.
Okay.
You can even get Sandbaggers in the Yukon, which is pretty exciting. So
amazing.
Yeah, and then we launched in the United States. We're now in New York, North Carolina, as well as Nevada.
Okay.
And proud to say that all the product for the United States is processed here in Canada. It's all made 100% here in Canada and exported to the United States. So, which has been great.
Yeah. So where did you say you're producing it here?
A couple facilities in around Toronto,
okay.
one in North York and one in Mississauga.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 facilities that process it.
And how are the tariffs affecting your business?
To this point, they haven't, to be honest. You would have thought the price of aluminum would have went up. It's been pretty stable for us. As far as exporting right now, alcohol falls under CUSMA or USMC, as Americans call it. Nervous about July. Should that go by the wayside, that could change things. Right now we enjoy, obviously, the Canadian dollar, the advantage of that. So we hope to continue to produce the product here in Canada indefinitely.
Good.
As long as the metrics make sense and we can still turn a profit, we'll produce it here. I'm proud to make it here and ship it to the United States.
How many employees would you have?
We're at 25 now. So we have 5 in the U.S. and 20 here in Canada.
And is the goal to get into every state down there as well eventually, if all goes well?
Yeah, I'd love to be in all of them. It's a process for sure, and it takes time and money. We hope to add 2 more states this year. We're looking at Florida potentially, and Ohio. Funny enough, which is you wouldn't think of going to Ohio with a drink like ours, but it's one of the top 5 states in the United States for ready to drink.
Oh, okay.
Beverages similar to Sandbagger.
And do you look at market share? So Bevy is your company as well?
It is, yeah. So it's like an agency that represents brands. So we look after Sandbagger, another brand I have called Storyteller. We work with Matt and Steve's, Caesars, among others. So that's our agency group that looks after the sales aspect of Sandbagger.
And when did you start that company?
Probably about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. So started to fold
it was Sandbagger first.
Yeah.
And you were figuring out
we were just doing Sandbagger, and we figured, we're already in LCBOs and everywhere representing one brand. It makes sense to add others to the portfolio.
Yeah. How hard was it to get into the LCBO?
They get about 1,000 new submissions every year, which is crazy, and they only accept 80 new submissions each year. So it's very difficult, especially those 80 are eaten up by the White Claws of the world and High Noons and whomever else.
Like
so
they'll bring out a different
flavor. So it's not 80 new people coming in. That's 80 new beverages.
Right.
So as an outsider, it can prove difficult. So we're fortunate to be on the inside. Now with, you can go to grocery and convenience, there's a lot more opportunities for businesses to start and get product to market.
Yeah.
Back when we started, it was the LCBO or nothing. You had no choice but to go through them.
Yeah,
so
right.
It proved to be very difficult, and we were lucky that we got in basically year 1 of applying. So now we have 6 SKUs in there now.
Yeah.
I'm excited in 3 weeks' time, we're launching our new gin mixer pack with 4 new flavors. So very excited about that. I think people will like it. We have a black cherry, clementine orange, kiwi lime, and blackberry apricot. Ooh. So 4 really cool new flavors.
Did you say March?
Yeah, they hit the LCBO shelves in March.
That's great. So do you track market share? Like, do you have goals with that? Or
Certainly, yeah. It's funny because we're starting to dive more into numbers where it was such a free-for-all for the first 4 years of growth. But now we start to look at markets and, GTA in particular. We just launched in Vancouver not too long ago in British Columbia. So we're really kind of dialing into the market and our competitors and where we sit in that market and how we can build in that market. So yeah, it's more numbers driven now more than ever.
And is there much marketing around the product?
We're getting better at that. Before it was, we didn't need to market as too much with social media and people kind of created the narrative. Now we have a full-time chief marketing officer working with a nice firm out of Toronto, Bob's your uncle. And Bob's from Peterborough too. He has Peterborough connections.
That's the marketing firm name?
Yeah, Bob's your uncle. Everything travels through Peterborough. Peterborough's like the nucleus of the world.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
I know.
But yeah, it's so we're really launching. We did a giveaway at Union Station last year. We gave away 14,000 cans of Sandbagger.
You can do that?
Yeah.
You can give away alcohol?
Well, it has to be warm and it has to have a label that says "Enjoy at home."
Oh, okay.
So you can. But yeah, so we've never done anything like that
That's
before
a
in
good
our lives.
idea.
So yeah, trying different things like that to get the brand name out there.
And do you sponsor events, that kind of thing?
Sure, we're looking at launching some connections to some charities upcoming. We do a lot of festivals,
Yeah.
big concerts, things like that. We get a lot of requests all the time, even people reaching out for bachelorette parties and things like that.
My 19-year-old daughter would like to be a sponsor of your brand
Absolutely.
at Dalhousie.
We'll get some cases in her hands. She can
Okay.
share them with her friends.
Yeah. Okay. Great story.
Yeah.
So, and congrats on all of your success. Really amazing. I'm
Congrats
sure your
on yours
dad
as
would
well.
be so
It's nice to see.
proud. Thank you.
Fellow high school student.
Yeah. We need a reunion or something.
We should.
right?
I think there was one a few years ago.
Yeah.
I was away at that time, but I'd love to see that again. Get everybody
Yeah.
back together.
Angi, seems to be really big on Facebook. Angie, if you're watching, let's get something going. We can help, right?
Absolutely. We'll definitely help. We'll sponsor it. Sandbagger will sponsor it.
Okay, good. Century 21 can too.
Perfect. Good tie-in.
So, Peterborough, it's changed over the years. We were chatting a bit about that,
Yeah.
and I think you have some great insight into.
Well, we were talking about the downtown in particular.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's not just Peterborough, whether it's Lindsay or
No.
any small town. A lot of the downtowns are not as great as they used to be, to put it lightly. A lot of that has to do, in my theory, of moving schools out of the downtown area. You had Central down there. You had St. Peter's High, Low. You had PCVS, and a lot of families. And we talked about my mom living on Stewart Street. That used to be doctors and lawyers on that street. Those houses were beautiful. And now it's so run down and so dilapidated. It's too bad because young families aren't moving and they're not renovating these homes and being close to schools. They build them in the West End, they build them wherever, and people gravitate towards them. So, in order to really revitalize a downtown, other than moving the Memorial Center down, which would help, really putting a school down there, and people would, I think, buy up homes and start to renovate them. They're beautiful, big old homes that have been turned into apartment buildings, basically, where they could be brought back to single family dwellings and revitalize the downtown. But I'm convinced that that's the only way to save a downtown is to put a school there, unfortunately.
I like the idea. Makes sense, totally. Yeah, and the Memorial Center downtown somewhere.
There's a perfect spot for it. It's right across from the bus terminal where Don McPherson has that land. It's a no-brainer. You've got the bus terminal there. You've got everything. I don't agree with some of the spots they want to move it right now, but that'd be a great spot for it. Right by Hunter Street, where it's vibrant, restaurants among other things.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Sandbagger Arena.
The Sandbagger Arena. Yeah. It would be naming rights for sure.
Yeah. So you got married later in life. You were telling me.
I did. Yeah. Brooke met her through Cisco, and then she worked at the Montreal House for a little bit, doing some bartending for me. Yeah. So we were friends for many years. Before we got together, and we have two beautiful kids, Van, who's 14, and my daughter, Eve, who's 10.
Yeah.
So very involved in hockey and dance around the community and things like that. It's been
More
great.
Connections.
And be able to bring them back and raise them here. Van was born in the beaches in Toronto. Okay. So to be able to raise them here in Peterborough, I think is pretty important to me.
Yeah.
It's a totally different way of life than
it is
growing up in Toronto.
Yeah, I was wondering if I'd be raising my kids in Toronto. We were there when our first two were born, and I loved our area. We were at Bloor West High Park, and beaches are a beautiful area as well, right?
Yep.
But it's just not the same. I felt like I'm going to send them to these schools, and I'm not going to know the families. Whereas here, going to school, there's always a connection.
Yeah.
It's a bit more of a
definitely
community.
More community for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm proud to be back here, and I love this community so much.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here.
Well, I appreciate you listening to my story, and I can't thank everybody who supported Sandbagger enough. I mean, it started in Peterborough. It's in Vegas. It's everywhere. It's pretty surreal, to walk through a casino in Vegas and see a Sandbagger can sitting on a shelf or something. So, yeah, it all started here, which is great.
You probably think of your dad every time you see something like that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you to everybody that's and yourself and everybody that during COVID was getting cases delivered to their door.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
COVID was good for a few things, maybe, eh?
It was not kids in school, but
No.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish you all the best, and
You too.
I hope you see more and more growth with the brand. And
I appreciate it. And thanks for thinking of me for your podcast.
yeah, great to see you.
Too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa.